was a phone. I watch you and Yan and Tia, Mamma Akosua Serwaa, that the Lumba, because an illegal Wi-Fi, no, or Mojo Hunter, highway media, you so. Abe Pimu, Ewa Ghana, any and cry hot the Yasam Ketwakra, Penny Beshe, and Omina Copium, Kojina Baba, and Rada, and Obe Pimu, Ewo, Asante Mantem, one Casani Dimu, and my Legal Wives Association, no, and ne Domina G. Chi, it to me, Equisiano, and so Ewa Honor, and Yasam Ketwakra, ADUMASA TV. Ye page in a so who say videos baby, and I echegu, your one of my fancy 4G, one when you may be no see honum, and our mobile Pimu, Ewo. Kumasi airport one one year omo chenya ma wo ho wo mo ashija market tenyo bibia bi wo honom ene se papa shidin be pie mu enu anwumere no omo wie ye no msa akobọ so amakom esan ekoto mu ewo tumfo nkoso hini fi ayira so den semba ye 24 eni bia na samba ko bokoto djuma nkofo bi sane se na ne nantese ne se ya do be yi ana se di enti no waba eno ena aka ho bi ama lawyer William Kusi ono ena ye lawyer ni a wodi nsem tenten no asa e dia mama me Akosua se we nei wodi nsem bebira to dwa chechiri mu adu property nti mama me Akosua se obepi mu ewo Ghana hanum se na nchiri mu no ena wo kire se ne ba wa ba no eya seda titi wo no ne lawyer ni enti se o maka asem no na se koye sankoye ni nyina mu no e wo se wo ba ene dwumadi ba ko minu bi e wo se wo hwe na wo kan no nti no obepi mu ewo Kumasi no se bia nya hote anase bia bibibo ni bia nti no wo ha no mansa na yenko na yenko tie asama lawyer William Kusi ene yenuanom ebien for twetwe nkomo no nkomo course no yenko tie bi mra
ejuzu minia
of I from me of house minia e kan so abesan chirim wo fa me fra wo fa minia anyway enua ne de bia enua
wo fa se mejuzu
me pe wo fa pa o
oh that's it
boko de
boko pa
afisha pa
sin komete
efie boko
boko pa
adwuma mso boko barely a week ni anase week munia wo ye active wo ye adwuma yi minister adwuma boko de
boko pa bibia ko na akwanso
na enwuma ben na wo kwa Christmas na na so dai na otie wo ya na o twene ho abeya ka Christmas kwa yentwam na wa ba office abeya ho adwuma wo bai wa tackle ana abe obstacle adwuma be pa na si wani so pa so fa ye ka say o first menu ana number 1
the number 1 aye akwanya be for so de ken de Japan ba be di MVP so na di power man no wa sangana
number 2
Akosua Serwaa justice for Akosua Serwaa is number 2
number 3
Number 3 is Aka.
Well, Abusha for me pacho bra angel na 6.1 Kumasi Facebook. Oti fie nso na okura remote a na wako deje boss ne so. Oban Roger TV, ye live also. Ye show pictures, visual bibi e koso. Fine gentleman yo that we lawyer William Kusi, where software ne sa. Domino Chambers, hona papa yi. Sabi ofa ni daily bread na oye daddy lumba ne yire Akosua Serwaa ana menka sa ne yire panini a obey correction fine ne yire panini Akosua Serwaa ne lawyer wana ne court ko prepare ne ma ho a nyame ncha de say ye nyina no akoda din okra bia ati ase lawyer wadawroma bronye ya chi na ehu se o client yi walande na omuhia no airport na baby fe na ye bi tan enura ne nekura de ekote kura ne say wo ba Kumasi airport na nkrofo nim so obefo aeroplane mini so na tu nifo a ma ne fa car eti na obedu Kumasi na o say ohun say ne nkrofo je to say o sanfa fm de eko airport fa me dwene wa na asemi mi sam ye mu din de say frem ne ebisam na mo kire yen because na me tie mi nua Akosua opon ya morning show issue sa brantia so abrantia won suma ma no ko gina ba bi mo ntim poda obeba be ka asem se do hu ni pepepe nti e no kora ma me no wo de ka na free and crime e bai Kumasi no hu say na chitafo wo prempe the first airport 20 no ko ho ana na wadaro mu makeka bom ye okuna ye kura wa ama e de ne ma ne bai de botai wo de bai ne say
about holidays or fie asanko. Into Bana just say, Amani be also was in Ghana, no, also Koto, or lawyer waha, about Obestrami. Senkrata Buha, Yebeshumani Ashim, Afutubia Media Free in terms of facts. I'm so legal advise them when I'm some German. And that is exactly what she came to do. So far, so good. Do Accra almost of Kosram, Abakumasi, or church and penny for especially woman Dinamano, a brand new Ghana. No. So we are in Kratabio so ye be a make sure so I answer no. We are was uncle near to a Jumadin, so I pin it a good super high young Juma. Once a process. And the hands of best in San, Yavanas and Sans and Wako. Do a Yakojama man, sanity.
I wish I for any Oba Penny Akosua Serwaa, the late icon Daddy Lumba, Naire, and a Naire Penny and an airborne commoner. Now, Oren Munyam for lawyer William Kusi, Kofa by Kofa Dominion Chambers by the client, and now Oba Walkumano, and a wooden and Amamra. Atutunia manyina yamano no the late Daddy Lumba na yere ene ne ebon komo no lawyer wadawruma me yi adesua a wasua si nchen a with all due respect fa cheme menim se wo akan ni ede na si wo kwan se obetu obayifo se omra maye okun na yie ni bi na mpo daachi bia no sin se ayi na chi no na fe no oba na nkrofo chihira no ade ama otim se obetu se omra na fe ya bibia wi na ana ho de nya wasam.
No, sir, you share circumstances now the year, she couldn't have come because a day before the year there was an application before the quarter. Now, Abushman Fono is seeking to restrain the court from moving ahead, the head of family from moving ahead to perform the funeral. And she had that information, and we knew that circumstances. The facts before the court, the baby a court may grant him. Because at the time, no, there was a fire application. I call police headquarters said, "Omo person who they said buy a lumba free moon," which was a criminal matter. And the police actually almost can complain no more young Juma. And I was surprised. I was not surprised when initially it came to court not grant the application. No? Because we have covered here. A couldn't obedience here about the investigations. So I was more surprised when we had the judge in Asanfre, the lawyers involved, some of them and years of no proof.
Now, lawyer, I want to own him. Now, me pay a emranim ni biti se mumubi. Ebeka court wasem na ya yen semfatan yebisa. Because me jina fidie so ye adwuma matiefo etie me bedi madanse se ye di nkomo no an ehunu se abusua no se omo empene so nti se ni na court nye e na court bua ye se di abusua ne kan modu ni se nti won mo mutumi eti ye de ye se ye ne ma fidie so akono ye betene se ye se court se e ma okra ye frɛ ma e koba se e wo se court se si enkonya foforo na emum enya court dem was said or can asem foforo no about to minim kwa mfasa mudi mu nsem na ehfa na mudi asem a edimu na yin na motra enimu.
It was a strange occurrence. Adia yenye court chini so court a ma order bisa so a Fontus official which is his official capacity to pronounce on the matter and has been taken away from him. So betima concern this will be the application number or an appeal. It sounded impossible for a court to recall the parties involved. Where is his jurisdiction? The other France will be on for application. But to lawyer near the application. How did they send the application? It was, and to me, it was one of the darkest days in our legal life. Say, court beat my answer, but whatever it is, now send your tiano. the time was so short for anybody to file an application. Say the court near Nyamra because there's no Kusi. And do file here before I best file na adiachi. Near several. That when I best several process. And until now, see if it taken good faith near ma and near my cost so send a bear mistake go maybe to my correcting later. And that is what happened. A strange appearance. Where the judge's opinion, the procedure was wrong. So we have situation where the judge opines like they see Kumasi during the argument, no. Correct. You can go on appeal and challenge his decision. But where the it's unheard of. But it happened though, and I'm happy that it has gone in the records. Say ABC or Ghana. How many days you had in law school?
Pepi ni yakasa. Oka wasem no kakra wi now the education tato. Minim ase sabi the oti ho a odi asem no ba no oye emranim ni a wasua de se de wasua de no. Na edenia sabi with all due respect or the common sense be kan ho. Eti wo common sense na de kan ho na ene ne de na anye pa nka be hawo.
Emranim common sense. What do I say? Yeah, very common sense in Muyamra. Yes, and Kekakofa. Continue white. Our money experience will be as many common sense. Then go apply. Already at work law school. That it too. Educated kind of court district court. Not about circuit. And not about high court. All these things is to train your mind to make legal decisions. And do the common sense could be as a more high court. They are saying what?
As I'm not
Emra. You may not like it, but that is the law. You have to apply it as it is. And that is why we are challenging the decision.
Nice one. Our client, apart from holidays or buy, or I've been for be far or kunu wone and a mombia was Sir Oma did money 2 year court in one.
Onyaji mfufu bi aba fie besla abusia mekura na menene nhia yakasa ofun so nto obedo nsa betum nsayem adofo ba so say na Ghana for si don. It tells you that Ghanaians disagree with the decision of the court. Ghanaians disagree with the decision of the court.
Nipa na question airport one na ma dwena yam kesene na na.
Of course, no don't bring me back and talk about that.
Nipa wo omko hia maami wo airport one ene wo mo ba yi no wa quantify ahwe
I'm a quantify
there in dozen
the funeral. Let me tell you about the relative term of the numbers. In fact, numbers no omko share a dozen, but that is even a lighter side of it, because with himself Akosua Serwaa's arrival in Ghana was uncertain. And they took just a few hours to organize those people we saw at the airport. And the advertising and Kabir. A year to the advertising, yeah, big boss. A big crowd, and so a Nipama, a more free districts in a zone baby. What I say? You could see how light the attendees were. So, Auntie, compare every funny says I could just say I just obey a year. And I just say a Kohai Kumasa Bakobeka and some national. Yankum.
Like social media, they say, oh no, you don't pass across or Hewachi. Cause social media, and I'm a nipa, you feel just a security behind a porous.
No, correct. I know sura above one, and your road at the end of me, or sura above one, Obama home by Cassia Panty. A mayor and Huntoswa, Sanyametoy. When him say, Alibaba, me file appeal, there were threats. My wife was even threatened. Emma pressure, domestic pressure, no mean happy. I'm saying, say I did him because that pressure, if it is obvious that we had a bad case, why will anybody threaten anybody? We are standing for justice and we will get it. I'm so confident.
Lawyer, yes, na Papa Shi cra tabi and crofo feel say original certificate now more than a photocopy or two baby said and crofobik can one. As I mean, my card is a document in Bao. And no crash or the certificate biaba. Now, Sanetia, Obama Kama or Moria Cocha.
Certificate, I mean, can't some trouble. In court, we usually send the copied ones. And they did dance here. And we got her to send us a certificate. And copies near the court. You now say, judges, okay, or the 2 million or so per originals. Yeah, catch a coach, say, why? Envelope or the mail by in a cry. Yeah, the court. So originals in. And we were all surprised when the judge says, office they are going baby now, and your original now. And look, the level of
judge, who say judge not doing and say, and your original, I'm going baby.
Now, the document, no doubt, is you could see it's not from Ghana.
Because
your family book.
A lawyer of your caliber now, Ober present here, Debia. Judge Bibeka say, and no, Obia for free baby. Nase, I will see a bisa once a me pa. Then pan a baby a man imagine Ben and say, Moko ye free baby and your original.
Adrian Bonnie.
Angel.
It is a number. Otherwise,
I mean, you know that I no. I pinu me integrity to suggest that me no go for fake documents about court. What for? What am I going to gain from it? I nobody. Because I know sincerely that the parties, the lawyers on the other side knew it was genuine. The judge said, knew it.
Are you money free?
Now, what's your judgment? Judge, initial stages of the judgment say evidence will say or ordinance marriage certificate from Germany. They are only second one, and until the document cannot be original. Otherwise, it wouldn't sit with her decision. And I want to the making answer. I say, Benamibu.
Clay.
Exactly. If she has to decide against us, then she has to say that the certificate was fake. Otherwise, there was no window for her to decide that both of them were wives. And on a lighter side, she has always sought to explain that she met them in the middle and then promoted peace. You get the point? And in the attempt to promote peace, she has to say our certificate was fake. My certificate, I can tell on authority, it wasn't fake. It was the original certificate from Germany. So,
wow. Lawyer, that's it. Now, what are my Ajuma Ekurawi? Abushia, SCA that Lumba, Mamre Kwanshui, appear who be here of you. Now,
in fact, Osha in Kratam, the court, and your front in America court may seek for injunction because we saw a rush to bury the body when we were talking about who is a wife and who can perform. These were the two things that the court had to address as far as we are concerned. If you can really phone, I have to phone that you file process. If you they want to do a postmortem, and that the opinion is not even the rightful person to conduct the funeral. I know Abusuafo, they had their lawyer. Maybe the status of Akosua as a wife is what I was prosecuting. And it is as relevant today as it was when the action was taken, because I've said this, the disease is cancerous. As I say cancerous. I tell you, low, my bet spread, just say alone, you know. It is very bad for a court to look at the certificate of a country like Germany and say that, fake. Couldn't say in diplomatic circle, that country can also say they won't accept any certificate from Ghana because of that decision. And I will be irresponsible. I sit down for that to happen. And what I can do is to prosecute an appeal, which will probably look at it differently and say that, It was an original certificate because German certificate, the idea assembly, one social media, people were posting theirs. There were no signatures of the parties on the certificate. And it will conclude that because the Akosua Serwaa about the certificate signature no akojibi, the almost sign. Everything we said was true, except that they had to refuse it in order that they can create peace in court. But it is tried knowledge to be worried under German, won't be worried second wife. I don't hear. I ABC. So to succeed in doing that, they have to say, we couldn't lead evidence to show so worried Germany. But Miss Mamma so one the representative your Dobroni court. No. In his evidence was see Lumba Kachum so worried or Germany. Nadana more worried. No. Yebisa was saying now I didn't break it down beyond record. One kasi were good no. I break the records are there for people missing Krofonkoji proceedings, especially more criticizing you know. They should look at the proceedings and know exactly what happened. They admitted Lumba had told them on 2 occasions that he was married in Germany. And then Bizarre said, did you look at the certificate of divorce? They didn't. And I'm saying, oh, I'm 419. That's the trend of the cross-examination. That if you knew somebody was married under German law, that's about you have to ask for a decree of divorce. Otherwise, it could happen that the marriage was still subsisting. You get the point? So, to me, there was evidence overwhelming. Abusapeni says that he wasn't there when they were married, he wasn't there when they were divorcing. To them, who has MDR. Although Bruni witnesses there, Lumba Kachrom say, our dinner a good one Kasoma could chuchum. What do I say? And so there was even evidence, apart from the issue of certification and all. I say Mranama Kwanso Jitum, even though there was no certification. Until we are confident. And yes, Lumba Nani Embassy Basin. And I hear you be and through Dobroni. But we want the truth. What do I say?
But I say, na enye the legend Daddy Lumba, what wono ye see no. Ena eha wono. Ena omoni odobroni so nia sembia na emum no kre. Was nothing but the truth shall set you free. Ti no kre na mo pe no a meboa.
Ali baba.
Papa.
Unim say so bi ho say protect over san kula nketenkete na ya wo mo. And we are very sensitive and mindful about that. We are not irresponsible. But you see, marriage is a big institution. Every society, society, break it down. Yeah, so-called worry, and by a month, the second one. We should respect that.
Sure.
Over so worry too, Amania, the old warrior, which is a man boss. I can focus the for bro. Muslims for I can marry more than 4 once it is under customary marriage. Why? Who is compelling them to marry under those ordinance laws so that they can marry? Who is compelling them? If you make a choice, you should live by it. You can't get the court to say I don't respect your certificate because it has not been certified when the facts are quite obvious. And what do we do in court? Justice.
Of course.
The truth is very important. You can't gloss over it. And you see, we refer to the judge, say, the Supreme Court has several said the court should not rely on technicalities and for them to defeat justice. It is so when the facts are there, you don't say when the law has given a caveat, say a certified crana, that's a mreni who we took 8 days to hear a complete case. Ghana, what to be that 8 days at the case that. We wanted to cooperate with the judge to come to the end before the funeral, which we did. And you see that we have been quiet about the judgment. Because appealing, he has ever commented too much. We go to the course of appeal. We only come in when people are blaming, trying to blame us. They are perfect work within that short time. Lawyers, lawyers, organ do 5. I don't know. a friend is Frimpong. I'm not Frimpong.
Yeah, lawyer not Frimpong.
Mr. Ona now social media so to I am pure so 70 HM.
What in the meal?
Because yeah, so I'm a classmate.
Okay, just catch Ray.
I'm a classmate.
Law school and basic.
Law school.
Well, okay.
Oh no, I jurisprudence because no makola.
Okay.
Any jurisprudence.
It's not the okay.
To be say warina or say for 15 years. I mean, and you see the facts he was narrating he was threatening the law because you see they were ordinary resident in Germany or Bani Okunu or Ma Echo School or Majuma or Mufi or and a man no yes or Bagana one I deserted in your wow bag free our if you have Bagana no or Bano to Germany desert. How can anybody even have that level of reasoning unless we're doing Bonnie? And if the judge says that we desert Lumba, I mean, why? 1 + 1 I don't know 5 and maybe no what you German nationals. No one from Germany about Ghana. Also, member desert. I did a logic. But the judge was bold to make all these comments. Instead of saying Lumba deserted the woman, probably that would have been a light better. Oh, Lumba deserted. There was a desertion. It was Lumba who deserted. Not the other way around. So, but they made all these commentary and people like not cheap.
I need Jim Kwaso, a chimney could be a Lumba Dakaso. Na Yebe King Kai, Nipim Newola, Nanyamina, come out client, Akosua Serwaa, me imagine American. Rebecca saying, Obesan court to be there, Panama Jeffrey court after weighing nation.
Medical court according to the local probate.
Say, Niamana, Lumba, be a wire willa. Niama or the Ama, Ubeko court I could prove it. Okay, maybe say more lawyers here. I'm going to cook money and cook.
So far, we'll be in unity.
Na me can say Kobase, a chinabia could be so not the all can your clients na the all can be your clients and one. A dear being a cawope. Obepasi, a best reverse here, ye view.
The same guys here, missing interest were you. What is it? Missing interest were court say na Lumba yere obra o tiase ye Akosua say one no yere bia.
Oh okay.
But no one ma e won pna.
Na na kan no mo tiase.
Ana so no na wo dia ye mpna. On tiase.
Solomon yes no wives and concubines. The concubines na ye ni mo.
I'm not to judge whether it was wrong for him to have taken a concubine. No, I'm not judging on that. You get the point. What I'm saying is that the law is that Lumba was married to Akosua Serwaa and no other person. Because the man is over there and the ordinance doing the second one. To forgive your mistress.
Lawyer William Kusi. Lawyer. A rather man was Shanya Koshewai.
Amen.
Amen. Miss Medasi Pa Mofa. Na a rade of what I must see. Be resolute. Na defended the women say right. Radin count. Chairman, you are wonderful. Lawyer William Kusi.
Yeah, Hebusia Fonti, audio Nibina, Okoya, Okoti, and Nti, Menoka say, dear, Okopiemu, Ewo, Daddy Lumba, Charles, Kojofu, Ukrumu. Yan and Tiasa was your penny to pack any honum. When you was your fionum, also say what is all about us one is so bandy. And yeah, Okopiemu honum or Quaquada was your phoning in our say, it's unsay. So by so am I was showing in our tiny chintin or Sedan or the Cocodrian to park in your honum. Now I'm on the Boca car also. Yeah, the every moment until where the IS a thank you tone on no Gusu or Qua did that say any day. Until now I'm on the Boca car about everyone akachi and on until feature no coso. Na po bonimu de bekoko wie bia so no yemfa enkame yetie for Headmaster TV modern TikTok Facebook channels ni nyina akoso na etoye ho no comment like share na ma odofo so send to me and so ebi medin dia tesem hene kwaku amumo enisha enyado akram